it's Percy here. Do you like fantasy anime? If so, get excited because I've picked 7 new fantasy anime from the October 2024 season. That's right, brand new anime fresh out of the oven. And man, this season looks really promising. If you're curious, get comfortable, leave a like, and let's dive into the new fantasy anime of October 2024.
Hyderabaki no Isekai Kuryaku. Haruka was the typical isolated student who didn't talk to anyone in his class. Suddenly, he and his classmates were transported to a fantasy world. Haruka thought he'd finally have the chance to live great adventures with a superpower, but reality turned out to be different. The god that welcomed them distributed powers based on their order of arrival, leaving Haruka with strange abilities that seemed useless at first. Without friends, Haruka couldn't form a group and was left behind by his classmates, choosing to adventure alone. However, upon discovering that his classmates were struggling, Haruka decides to rescue them using his unique abilities and a bit of cleverness. Guys, you can already tell this one is going to be a harem anime, as the cover is filled with girls. It seems pretty cliche. I bet you've seen at least 10 similar stories, but I like this kind of cliche, so I'm definitely giving it a shot. Rikishi and Inokoro Akujo and Neruzo. Alicia is the eldest daughter of the prestigious Williams family, renowned for their mastery of dark magic. Her long dark hair and golden eyes give her an imposing presence, but her sharp tongue and cruel personality are what stand out most. She's the villain, but also the protagonist of an Otaku game. A devoted fan of Alicia from the real world wishes to be like her and, thanks to a sleepy truck driver, gets her wish in an unusual way, by being hit by a truck and reincarnated as Alicia at 7 years old. Inside the game, knowing a lot about the story's plot, Alicia is determined to become the greatest villain in history as long as she sticks to the plan. However, she soon realizes escaping Alicia's fate is harder than it seems. This is an isekai more focused on romance and personal relationships, with elements of Otaku games, which are usually geared toward female audiences. But that doesn't mean the anime is only for a female audience. And as you know, I like different things, so I'm definitely going to check this one out. Seara Ryus. Long ago, a human managed to defeat the oldest and most powerful dragon that ever existed. This dragon was so strong that even the gods feared him, but he accepted his fate without resistance. Suddenly, the dragon woke up in a new life as a man named Dolan, living in a remote village. Now, as a regular person, Dolan works in the fields and hunts to make a living. Though the village life is simple, it brings him a happiness he never experienced as a dragon. One day, while exploring a swamp, Dolan encounters Selena, a half-human, half-serpent creature known as a Lamia. She's looking for a partner, but admits she struggles to appeal to humans due to her serpent side. Despite their differences, Dolan and Selena form a friendship, but they soon face challenges from external forces. Join them on a magical adventure as a once-feared dragon begins a new life in a peaceful corner of the world. Honestly, there's nothing particularly different about this one compared to other fantasy anime, so I don't have much to highlight. If you really love fantasy and adventure anime, it's worth checking out the first 3 episodes to see if you like it. Party Kara Suiho Sereta Sono Chiushi. This story follows Rost, a healer who was kicked out of his previous team for being considered useless. While looking for new companions, he meets a beautiful martial artist and reveals his secret. Despite being a mediocre healer, he's incredibly strong in close combat. Now with new friends, Rost will try his best as support, even though he often ends up being the real damage dealer of the group. This is just one of those stories about people who end up as support, but don't like playing support, so they try to kill everyone and take over as DPS. Jokes aside, I'm interested in the anime. Even though it seems a bit cliche, I'll give it a chance. Najiki no Bure. Kurai and Dalahi dreamed of becoming one of the legendary treasure hunters and traveling the world with his childhood friends in search of riches and glory. However, on his first expedition, he discovered he had no talent or special skills. Even with a high chance of losing his life, Kurai refuses to give up on treasure hunting, or rather, he's not allowed to quit. Since his childhood friends are incredibly powerful, Kurai constantly finds himself in dangerous situations, saved by them repeatedly. As much as he begs to retire, his friends always find a way to drag him back, making his only wish to survive until the end of the day. This one caught my attention. I like the style of the anime. I just hope the protagonist is decent, not one of those who acts weak even though they're strong and never changes, even at the end of the series. That said, I'm going to follow this one. Saikyu no Shinshoku. Noel always admired his grandfather, who was known as a legendary hunter and renowned hero, but his dream of following in his footsteps was challenged when Noel received the class talker, a support-focused role known for being weak. Determined not to give up on his dream, Noel uses his intelligence and wit to form the strongest clan in the world and become its leader, so he can achieve great feats like his grandfather with the help of his new companions. To sum up this anime, it's literally about a protagonist who resolves everything through dialogue. It even reminds me of a certain ninja with a fox inside him. All jokes aside, there's not much more to say. Let's hope it's good. Urshi Ruwari Udi. After being sentenced to death by her own fiancé, Jill unexpectedly goes back 6 years in time, just before her execution. Realizing she's back at the party where her engagement was formalized, Jill decides to confess her feelings to the person right behind her, hoping to avoid her tragic fate. The problem is that this person is none other than her worst enemy, the Dragon Emperor Hades. Despite trying to take back her declaration, Hades won't allow it and decides to take Jill to his home, where he wins her over by offering her a delicious meal. Determined to change her fate, Jill declares she will not only reform Hades, but also make him happy, starting a relationship that could lead to an even worse fate than before. This one's for those who enjoy something different, a romance filled with fantasy. The show is already controversial because the girl who goes back in time looks like a child, even though she's older, and people are criticizing it for that. But aside from that, the story seems interesting. It's a romance anime for those wanting something beyond the usual school romances.
We've reached the end of the video, and I want to know, are you excited about these new anime too? I'm really looking forward to them and hope they live up to my expectations. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the channel, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like on this video to support it. A big hug from your friend Percy, and I'll see you next time.